Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Like always, it has been a while. Today was technically day 2, though it was my day 1 of the New Jersey bookstore crawl. And similarly to how the Lower East Side one went back in October, we got little like pamphlet thingies. Unlike the Lower East Side one, there are like 3 times the amount of bookstores. Now, will I hit all of them? Absolutely fucking not. But I do intend on hitting more than just what I did today. Denville Bookbarn took a little while for me to get through. I got more than just books. But that being said, I'm hoping that tomorrow I not only film a little bit more, but also hit more than one store. Without further ado, let me at least give you the haul for the Denville Bookbarn. So like I said, I got more than just books this time around. Luckily, the Bookbarn has a good selection of like soundtracks. And in previous trips, I've gotten things such as like Funny Girl, Phantom of the Opera. This time around, I picked up Rent, the Idina Menzel version. A Chorus Line, which I have the original, like, I can show you right now. I have the original cast recording, so I had to get the 2009 one, which I'm very excited about because I like this Morales better, but that is neither here nor there. I also picked up some Spanish language music and some Brazilian bossa nova. So I got Buena Vista Social Club. I also got Luis Miguel, Busca una Mujer. And I also got Jose Jose 25th anniversary. Which I'm very excited about. And then I got Cesaria Evora, which is Brazilian bossa nova music, and as well as samba bossa nova. But that isn't all of the CDs that I purchased today. That's just what I got from Denville Bookbarn. So I did happen to see that they had a good selection of manga. And I ended up getting volumes 1 through 4 of The Promised Neverland, which I, for a while, was not really intending to collect ever because I didn't like the second season. I mean, what second season? But I had always wanted to read the manga, and I had read some of it online, but never decided to collect it because I didn't want to spend the money on it. But $3 a pop, who can say no to that? A series that I am collecting is Kaiju number 8. So I got volumes 7, 8, and 10. So I'm just missing 9, but I already have the first 6. So this is kind of ironic that I picked up these 3 because all I need is 9. I think I mentioned it before, but I have kind of been on the hunt to collect a lot of like my childhood books as well as banned books. And one of the series that I don't have completed is the Percy Jackson series, the first 5 books. Not House of Hades, not like the secondary like Trials of Apollo collection or series, just the original 5. But I picked up Sea of Monsters today. I'm very excited about this. All I'm missing now is the Lightning Thief. I ironically picked up Battle of the Labyrinth, Titan's Curse, and The Last Olympian at Denville Bookbarn as well. So it seems like that's my lucky spot for Rick Riordan books. I did also see that they had a hardcover of The Red Pyramid, which I technically already have. I just don't have the like slip cover. I wasn't gonna buy it though. I have it at my parents' house, but I'll bring it back here another day. Another series that I finally completed is the Maze Runner series. I forgot that there was a prequel, The Kill Order, but I had originally found The Death Cure, and then I saw Scorch Trials, which I really wish that all of them were like the original cover. Unfortunately, this is the movie cover, but you know what, so what. But I already had the Maze Runner, which I picked up at Sweet Pickle Books, if you remember from that last book crawl. But now I have not only this completed, but I also have the 5th Wade series completed, which is currently lent to my friend Denzel. I picked up To All the Boys I Loved Before. Last time I went to Bookbarn, so I picked up P.S. I Still Love You this time around. I had also already read Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and I miraculously found Electra, so that was a good pickup. And I had been recently talking about The Host. I prefer this series to the writing that she did for the Twilight series, but I think it's also like I'm biased because this is one of my favorite sci-fi series, or better said, favorite sci-fi movie of like my adolescence. So like I'm a little partial to their story more than anything. Do I plan on eventually collecting the Twilight series? No. My mom technically already has it, so if I really wanted, I could just take her copies. But at least I can say that I own my own Stephenie Meyer book, and it's The Host over the Twilight series. No shade to Twilight. I liked Twilight. I read it growing up, which is why my mom has it. I just haven't read this probably since I was like 14. I picked up this book called Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs. It seems to be an like analysis on pop culture, postmodern America especially. And it just caught my eye. I read the blurb, had to do with like just analyzing things like Empire Strikes Back, Celtics versus Lakers, etc., etc., etc. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not opposed to sitting down and reading a nonfiction, especially when it's like something that's like something I'm already interested in. When it comes to like movies and media, I am like a Twitter dweller. So I feel like this is gonna be very similar to that kind of breakdown about pop culture. So excited about this. And then some like YA and children's books. My friend Celine really loves Impossible Creatures, and I happened to find the hardcover of it. Not only is it hardcover, but it's also the English version, the UK version. So this cover is beautiful. I did know that the Bookbarn had one with spray edges. This was obviously not it. But I like this cover a little bit better, and it was only $1 because it's a children's book. I also picked up Love Less. This is by Alice Osman, who is the writer of the Heartstopper series. I am a little disappointed that it's stained, but that's what I get for buying used books. I ironically have never read this novel. I forgot Alice Osman also wrote novels and not just the Heartstopper like series storyline, which is a webcomic, but I also know that they wrote Nick and Charlie, which is a separate novel, still telling the Heartstopper story. I didn't know about this. That friend Celine that I was talking about earlier, they also told me about this, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't know about that. So once I saw it, I had to pick it up. Last but not least, I picked up A Gentleman in Moscow. This is something that has been on my TBR for quite some time now. I had seen it recommended to some other people on Fable, and I like immediately added it to my TBR. Didn't read much about it, but I had known that the rating was pretty good. Today, as I picked this up and it was sitting on top of my basket, many people were like, that is such a fucking good book. So I'm really hoping I enjoy it. That same friend Celine also had read this already and thought it was a great pull for me to pull. So that was that. But that is what I have from the New Jersey Bookstore crawl, specifically from Denville Bookbarn. So I have decided that I am indeed going to continue the book haul today. Obviously it has not been much longer since you've seen me last because I edited this. But I'm going to go to Source of Knowledge first because it's in Newark. And then from there, I'm going to head out to Montclair area, Verona area, hit 3 stores there. And I think that'll be all I'll be able to do today before things close. And then tomorrow, I think I'm going to start in Hoboken and do the Jersey City ones. So that's 3 more. If I am not too financially drained or mentally drained, I'll try to hit some more closer to like Morris County. Though it's a little bit of a hike, I might be able to do it. So we'll see where I end up tomorrow. But first and foremost, let's go to Source of Knowledge. And then from there, we will hit Montclair Book Center. Obviously not in Source of Knowledge anymore. I did get 2 books from there, but a lot of the stuff they had, I would have needed way more time to like sit down and read the blurbs. Things like African lore, Egyptian mythology, like anti-establishment stuff. And then there was plenty of beautiful children's books, but I don't have children. I could have thought to look through them for my niece, but I can't remember exactly how old she is. I haven't seen her in a couple years. So I will definitely be going back there at some point. It's miraculously like 6 blocks up from my apartment, so that's not an end all be all. I didn't even get stamped on it for today, so I'm very sad about that. But the 2 books that I did pick up were Night Crawling, which I had on my TBR from Goodreads for 2 years now. I haven't actually seen this in many bookstores, so while I saw it, I figured I might as well grab it. And then my July book club book for my horror book club will now be Burn the Master's House Down. So excited. Now on to the next. As if I didn't already know that I'm out of practice of the whole vlogging thing and like setting up your camera and stuff. I didn't record a lot today. I do have one clip, which you'll probably see, of me like actually perusing some sci-fi books, but for the most part, I didn't. It's my face. Can't get tired of it though. I ended up missing 2 bookstores because they were closed. For example, the Watchung Booksellers, they close at 5. Who closes at 5 on a freaking Saturday? So that one obviously did not get checked off. I also intended on going to Words in Maplewood, but that was a little too far out of the way. And then I tried going to Here's the Story in Union, and that one also was a bust. They closed at 6. By the time I got there, it was 6:15. So the bookstores that I did hit was obviously Bookbarn, which you saw the haul from this morning. The Collective, which I also didn't record, but I ended up picking 3 weird books, because I love weird books. I got No Place to Bury the Dead, The Employees by Olga Ravin, and then By Night in Chile, which I'm excited to read because I love weird books. And then I did make it out to Montclair Book Center, and I ended up picking up On Earth as It Is Beneath, which apparently there is this like bookstagrammer that has like a YouTube channel where she's talking about this, or this is their book club book. Fascinating. The Practice, The Horizon, and the Chain. Sounds similar to Chain Gang All-Stars. I haven't finished that yet. But it starts with this boy who is brought upstairs from like some underground like prison or something. I don't know, caught my eye. Black Sheep. I love a good weird feminist horror novel. Especially when it has to do with family and religion. I'm hoping this is like similar to The Unworthy. I also got Glow in the Dark, which these are all novellas, but also written by a Latin American author, Liliana Colanzi, Bolivian author. Caught my eye as well. Something to do, it's like kind of sci-fi, kind of horror novel. And then, of course, I had to finish another series that I already started owning, Catching Fire and Mockingjay. Alas, the like newer books don't have the same like style of artwork, which is upsetting, but like it's whatever. Will I end up owning The Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping? Who knows? But at least for now, I own the original trilogy and I'm content with that.
Tomorrow.
All right, so we are continuing our book haul today. Same hairstyle, different accessories, different outfit. But I'm currently in Hoboken. I just went out of Little City Books, which is a bookstore that I had been familiar with before. I had been by there like at night when it's closed and looks super pretty with its lights out and stuff. But now I'm on my way to a store called Symposia, and there's also a second street, so maybe I'll go thrifting. Hopefully I'll get comfortable enough to talk to people with camera rolling, because when I say that I just spent 15 minutes speaking with this author about her book, I like didn't even think, oh, let me record you that way I can get people to like talk about your book. So maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll go back, I'll sit her down and record her, with permission of course, and see if I can get some more footage that is worth editing. I'm so bad at this. You guys are gonna have to bear with me, because when I'm telling you, last time I was actually actively vlogging would have had to have been maybe 2015. So bear with me. So I was told that there's a Mexican food spot next to Symposia, but I didn't believe it. So we're about to go in there. It's apparently a used bookstore. Let's see how much I spend there. Alrighty, so I Just left Symposia. Very cute. Apparently they do puppet shows there, which I thought was adorable. I spoke to the owner for a little bit as well. I had made a joke about like how I wish I'd gone to all the used bookstores instead of the new bookstores. I would have spent less money, because I ended up finding not one, not two, but 3 more Rick Riordan books. I ended up picking up 2 and 3 of Trials of Apollo and book 2 of Here's of Olympus. So we are starting the collection of the rest of the series. I also did pick up Berry Pickers, which was on my TBR last year during like Native American Heritage Month. So now I have it for this year. It was $7. So now I'm on my way to Jersey City. It's about like a 10-minute drive. We're gonna have 2 stores, and I think that's all I can do today. Everything else is just so fucking far away. So I think today I'm just gonna hit 4 total and then call it a day, which is, you know, it's fine. I wish it like wasn't that. I wish I could hit more, but hitting 2 that were closed yesterday still meant that I hit 6 total. So after today, I will have hit 11. Yeah. Not to mention though, I probably shouldn't be spending money at more than the 10 bookstores that I hit. Mainly for my wallet, but also just because like I don't need to be doing that for myself. All to say, what I did get from Little City Books though, I got more weird horror books, all novellas of course, 2 sci-fi and then 2 horror. So I will break them down much later, and then I will obviously list them in the description, as well as all the stores that I hit, because for the New Jersey watchers, maybe it's worth your time. To Jersey City we go.
A few moments later.
We are back in my car. I'm just gonna hang out for a little bit, let my phone charge. It might overheat, but I just got out of Word, and I got a couple things. I got more like trinkets than anything. A free bookmark. I got this cute little like cafe bookmark. It's like, focus. Little coffee shop. There's a cat on the back. And I got 2 stickers. I got this one that says touching grass. And this one's, yeah, I've seen the news. And then I got 2 pins as well, which I think that's what my damage was. But I got this Saitama pin, and then I got this other pin that says you are not immune to propaganda, which is correct. You are not immune to propaganda. But books wise though, what I did get, I got 3 books. I got Endling, and I have not seen this like cover before. I looked it up. I was like, is this the UK version or is this like your mass media? Nonetheless, it's prettier than the other one, and also the reason I had been hesitating on buying this before was I've only seen the hardcover and I didn't want the freaking hardcover, so I'm excited about this. And then father material. I haven't even read boyfriend material or husband material yet, but this released like last week, and this is the first store on the crawl entirely that has it actually on displayed. They had the most beautiful like queer LGBTQ display that I've seen of all the stores so far. But I saw this and I was like, okay, well now I'm here and I see it, I gotta get it. And then this, I don't read a lot of het romance, okay? That's like, I wouldn't even call it a preference. It's more so just like, the stories, the tropes are pretty much always the same. However, this is already enemies to lovers. It's literally called While You Were Seething, okay? But based off the cover, if you can freaking focus, they are like fully adults. Like that, this man's graying. And I was like, I'm sick and tired of like people in their early 20s, like hating each other and then getting together. Or people that are like in their late teens getting together. Like, I don't want that shit. Not to mention, I was disappointed that I didn't see that many POC like stories, but still, nonetheless, this caught my eye. And that is all for Word. Maybe I still will go to Dungeon Books, which is still in Jersey City. It's a 15-minute walk, but I'm gonna sit on it. Nonetheless, let's see where I end up. As usual, I did not film in the store, but I have a valid reason this time. My phone died. So I had the staff worker charge my phone for a little bit. So I ended up picking up Cinder House. First of all, Cinderella's one of my favorite stories. And then I picked up this Together We Burn, which seems to be like a Spaniard kind of romance, enemies to lovers fantasy story. So we'll see how I like it. I read through it and there's like mentions of like flamenco and dragon hunting, but in a similar style to like matadors. So I think it can be really fascinating. There were a couple other books that I saw that caught my eye, but my phone was dead, so I didn't take pictures of them. Nonetheless, now I'm walking back to my car and we're gonna head home. Like I was saying earlier, I don't think there's anything else that's like within driving distance that's like close to my apartment. So I'm just gonna call it, you know, sit there, update my spreadsheet, and also like, how do I put it? Contemplate my money spending and like check my budget and my bank account, because I have so many books and I go through and I like donate them from time to time, but the amount of books that I have does not account for how much money I spend. So we're gonna have to do some introspecting and some documentation for all of it. So it's only like 3:10, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I should go enjoy some sun. I should go sit at a park. I should go grab a blanket. I should read one or even two of the books that I picked up today. Because it's not like entirely impossible. You know what I mean? Theoretically. So I'm obviously home and it's no longer light out. I did not go to the park. I did manage to read like 100-something pages of my novel, but I didn't do much. I had decided that, you know what, it might rain. I might as well, like, you know, do some inventory. My phone was dying anyway. I didn't have a blanket. I didn't want to risk sitting on wet grass. So I decided, you know what, maybe it's for the best. So while I was doing inventory, I did realize that I should probably, one, sign off, but also, like, actually cover what I got today. Because I know that I showed a lot of the things that I got, like, while I was on the move, but I don't think that I actually showed everything. So I figured, you know, we'll do a little recap. First things first, I started at Little City Books in Hoboken. I don't think that I showed much of like the area, but it's by the water. It's really nice. It's around like a lot of the bars and the social hub of like Hoboken. So it was really nice to like just go in and out. I ended up getting some gelato after I went to the bookstore. But while I was there, I had mentioned that I chatted with the author. We talked for a little bit, and I had also spoken with some of the staff about some of the books that I picked, because the younger of the two like staff ladies had mentioned how she's also a fan of weird fiction, and I happened to pick some weird ass books. I know I showed them off like in a book spread, but I didn't actually individually talk about the books. Starting with Victorian Psycho. This caught my eye at a Barnes & Noble out in like Monmouth. And I remember taking a picture of it and then wanting to revisit it, but the only reason I hadn't purchased it was because I was contemplating between this and a Stephen Graham Jones book, and I ended up going for the SGJ. So I saw it today and I was like, you know what? It must be a sign. This and Thirst as well. Thirst is another novel with like the trope of like sapphic vampires. And these two have been like on my radar because a lot of the horror that I read or like psycho thriller books that I read tend to have a female protagonist. But every place I had seen it was at like a big box. And I was like, well, if I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy it from an independent store. Now, I saw this first, so this was the choice. The staff ladies also were very excited about it. They were like, oh, I've heard so many people talk about it. I was like, people have been talking about it on Fable. And so hopefully when I read it, I get to see the movie, but also go back to the store and talk to the ladies about it and see how they react. Speaking of weird fiction, Penguin Random House actually called this weird fiction. It's called Claimed by Gertrude Barrows Bennett. This is like a sci-fi novella that was like industrialist and like short stories and like pioneering female voices in horror writing. I don't know, like it just like it sounded like good to know about, and like I love reading books that not a lot of people read as well. And so I happened to look up on Goodreads. Has pretty high ratings for not that many reviews. This, and there was another novel that I ended up taking a picture of yesterday called Butcher. Both like were kind of seemingly in the similar subgenre, but I ended up picking this today. Regretting not picking up Butcher, but I don't think I was in the headspace for reading about how the father of gynecology gets that title in an embellished horror fashion. So this was the choice today. More weird fiction. The Brief and Frightening Reign of Phil. Reading this blurb reminded me of Adventure Time. I don't know why. But like, I'm hoping that it's exactly what I expect it to be. Another novel or novella that didn't have super like many reviews, but like a good rating. I think it's 3.6. So we'll see how I like this one. And then last but not least, The Last Wolf / Herman. This is a collection of short stories or like an anthology, which is also a Nobel Prize winning novella. But this was like by a Ukrainian author, and this had caught my eye because it's so plain. I don't know if that makes any sense. I am somebody who is known for judging a book by its cover, literally. It has burned me quite a bit. After that, I know I had talked about most of them. I went to Symposia, which is a used bookstore. You guys already know that. But the two books that I did not show while I was in the car was Unaccompanied Minors and A Man Called Of. I think I talked about it, but I definitely didn't show it. I have never seen this cover before. I have seen the other one, and like, I don't think it's the mass media, but I've definitely seen the UK cover. This is so freaking cute. And even the back of it, like, what? Anyway, this has been recommended to me multiple times by friends of mine. My friend Julia has been wanting to put me onto this. So I finally grabbed it. And then this, it's also a compilation of short stories, and it's supposedly really sad. And my friend Celine and I talk about reading really sad books frequently. And although it's fiction, from what I gathered from the blurb on the back, the reviews on the back, and the reviews online, it's like so sad that it's like kind of real. So expecting to need at least a whole box of tissues for this one. I hope you had a fun time accompanying me on this bookstore crawl. I hope that the constant footage of me in my car or in my apartment wasn't too boring. All to say, thank you for coming on this journey with me. And this is not the last time. And I'm pretty sure that I will spend another weekend somewhere down the line doing another kind of book crawl and spending way more money than I should. But with that, I bid you adieu, and I'll see you next time.